Welcome to Small Biz Big Wins, where every episode is a new journey into the heart of entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Summer Poquette, here to navigate the thrilling world of small business with you. Each week, we dive into the inspiring stories and joyful triumphs of real business owners. Get ready to be empowered with actionable advice and, most importantly, celebrate the spirit of small business. Let's dive into how every small victory shapes your big success. This is Small Biz Big Wins. Let's make it happen. Welcome back to another episode of Small Biz Big Wins. I'm your host, Summer Poquette. If you're new here, welcome. I hope anyone that tunes in takes away a few golden nuggets of advice from this episode or any of the pods. Well, I always try to have a guest. Today, it's just you and I. If you tuned in last week, you heard me talk about recovering from my shoulder surgery and this nasty virus I had, which, to be quite honest, I'm still recovering from. I tell ya, it has been no fun, zero fun, zilch fun at all. The whole month of June, I just lost that in my whole life. And now they're concerned I am developing frozen shoulder. I am starting PT at a clinic, and now I'm going to have heat and electrodes, and it's going to be like an hour too long, a couple times a week. It is such an ordeal. I could really do an entire episode all about this, but I'm going to spare you the details. And instead, I'm just going to jump right into today's topic, which is integrated marketing. You're probably wondering why I'm talking about this. And the truth is, it's because a lot of small businesses and organizations that I have worked with over the years have very siloed marketing. So one department doesn't know what the other one is doing. Someone is writing a blog post about a topic, but nobody is sharing it on social media or email marketing. Oftentimes, marketing is very last minute. It becomes reactionary. I got to move this product, or I'm going to have this sale, or let's throw out a deal on, this, and it's very last minute. And oftentimes, the different types of marketing channels aren't working in tandem. So when marketing efforts aren't integrated, then you have everything very segmented, right? But when they are integrated, when they aren't siloed, when you have the right hand knowing what the left hand's doing, the results are always, always better. And that's what I want for you and your small business. I want you to have good marketing results. So let's begin with what the heck is integrated marketing, right? In a nutshell, it is consistent messaging across all the marketing channels that you're working with. So what you're offering, what you're saying, it is consistent. It is consistent in the content that you're sharing. It is consistent in the tone and in the voice and in your branding. When you are using multiple different marketing channels, so you're using social media, you're using billboards, you're using radio, oftentimes this doesn't happen and you don't have that coordination because there's just a lack of planning. Maybe there's an agency that you've hired, like Keep Your Real Social, and all they do is work on social media. But then the internal person places the radio ads or the billboard ads, or they're printing flyers to stuff in the bags, etc., etc. And when the two, or maybe you have multiple different hands in the pot, are not communicating, you just don't have any coordinated communication and you're not integrating everything. And so what your audience is hearing is, well, you're hearing this, and then you're seeing this, and then you're reading this, and it's not integrated and coordinated. I have to say, this is one thing that Keep It Real Social, I'm going to pat myself on the back here. This is what we do really, really well for our clients, is that we take all of these pieces of the marketing puzzle and we pull them together. We see where everything fits. We create the content pillars. We communicate with the clients regularly on deals and specials and what other marketing initiatives they have going on. And really, this ends up leading to us handling most of the marketing and the majority of it because it's easier for the client. They're like, "Hey, okay, you take it. You make it consistent. You drive the bus now." Because they realize how uncoordinated it is, how it's not integrated, how they're not using their channels and working with them together. So what I want to share with you today are 5 different marketing channels for your small business that you could use, what they are, how they can benefit your business, and then how these channels could work together. I want to give you examples of how when a potential client finds you through one channel, they end up staying connected and they become a loyal customer or client. They're not just a Facebook like, they result in business for you. Often a client will think of, let's say, Facebook, and they will think of that fan or that person as just a like. And that person is so much more that is liking your Facebook page. They are someone that is a potential buyer. They could possibly be your buyer or your customer. But if they aren't your buyer or your customer, they might know that right person. So it's important to think of them as just another like or another drop on your email list, right? Another email. They are more than that. And when done correctly in an integrated marketing plan, it really results in more business because that person starts liking and sharing and commenting and connects you to other people that they know. And therefore, word of mouth marketing takes place. I often find that small businesses, the owners just don't see how these channels connect like a puzzle. That in their head, they're often viewed as separate, but they're so interconnected when done well and correctly. So I will note that I'm going to reference social media throughout this podcast, and I'm not going to dive into social media and that being a specific channel for your small business. I'm going to assume today that you are using social media. But what I'm pretty sure you're not doing are using these other marketing channels. And I want you to think about using them. I want you to consider them. And then I want you to integrate them with your social media. I'm going to venture to guess a lot of you listening are using some sort of social media. You have Facebook or Instagram, and you're probably not integrating it with any of your other efforts. So if you are a retail store and you have a bag stuffer about an upcoming sale or event you're having, you're probably not posting that on social. Or if you are posting it on social, maybe you're not using email marketing or some of these other channels. So I want to begin with blogging. Okay. This is something that this is where I got my start, right, in marketing. Well, it's not my start for really, but this is one thing that launched my career into marketing. That's what I'm going to say. So blogging really in 2008 is where I launched my marketing career. I was a professional blogger from 2008 until 2018. So 10 years I had a blog. That blog generated revenue for me and my family. That blog was a business. That blog connected me through my stories to brands nationwide. And I understand when people hear blogging, they think, wow, that is a lot of time. I just don't have the time. And yes, blogging is a time consuming channel. It is a time consuming communication tool, but it has so many benefits. First off, Google loves new content. And when you write a blog post and the history of your location or your business, or you're sharing a thought leadership piece, you're sharing tips and advice, Google uses your blog to help rank your website. Google loves new content. A blog is a tool for you to tell your story. It is a chance for you to give advice. It is a chance for you to be a thought leader, to provide tips, to provide tools, and help your ideal customer or client. Now, I'm going to give you some examples later in the pod on how this can lead to new clients and how Google will use this to help you. Um, I had a great client. They were a long-time retail client who successfully used blogging and still uses blogging. Weekly, we published a blog post about the things to do in our area. We're in Northern Michigan. The things to do in our area, our town. It wasn't all about them at all. It was about things you can do in our area. And they also sold souvenirs. So within a blog post, we would link to products or other helpful blog content. And if you spend time creating the blog content and you give it legs, it can be integrated into your other marketing. So we would create the blog post and Google would help rank the website, right? So if someone was searching for 10 things to do in Northern Michigan, this blog post might appear. And then the reader, the potential customer, is reading the blog post. Then they click on the souvenir link that we're linking to. Then they become a customer. But that is not where the blog post lives and dies, right? It needs to grow legs. Every piece of content needs to have legs and be integrated into the other marketing pieces. So we would share that blog post on the email list, right? We would share that in the weekly news content that we are sharing to everybody who subscribed to the website and to the email list. We would post it on social media, and we would make sure that we would update the Google business profile with that particular blog post. We would create a graphic and we would pin that blog post to Pinterest. All the content that you create needs to be shared to the different channels you're using. It is never an island onto its own. So this is just an example of how when you use an integrated marketing plan, you aren't just we didn't just create a blog post and then we were done with it. We wanted to make sure we created that blog post and we shared it out on all of those channels. And if we had a blog post about things to do in Northern Michigan in store, the window might be based on Northern Michigan travel or things you need. So we integrated it into every piece that we were touching that month or that week. So it was a consistent message to the potential visitors or buyers. The next, and this is extremely important, the next marketing channel would be your website and capturing leads on your website. So if someone comes to read your blog about 10 things to do in Northern Michigan, and you wrote this amazing blog post and you shared it on Facebook, and then they visit your blog and they love it, you need to make sure you capture their information on a form. You want to make sure that any visitor that comes to your website is asked to subscribe to your newsletter. You want to stay connected with that visitor. If they come and they leave, you have no way of remarketing to them. You have no way of following up with them. They're gone. So make sure you offer an incentive when they sign them up. So if you sign up for my newsletter, in return, you receive many free downloads for your small business. I offer a Google Business Checklist, a social media posting calendar, a SMART Goals worksheet, and so much more. So hint, hint, sign up for the link. It's in the show notes. If you write a blog post, make sure that you're asking people to subscribe to your email newsletter. The point being, if you send people to your site, if you write a blog post, if you post something on social media, however they're coming to your website, you need to make sure that you ask for them to sign up for your newsletter and in exchange, give them something so that they're more likely to sign up. Nobody wants to just give their email address for no reason. They want something. Something is in it for them. It's the way the world works, people. In 1 week, LinkedIn and Facebook went down. So if those are the only channels that you are using to communicate with your potential customers, you're in trouble. And the only communication tool that you own, listen to this, repeat this, rewind. The only communication tool you own for your small business would be your emails that you collect, your addresses you collect, and your phone numbers. Think about that. So, a newsletter, do you have one? If not, you should. It is the most cost effective way to communicate with your current customers and your potential customers. Studies have shown that the ROI is something like insane, like $40+ for every dollar spent on email marketing. That's huge. A current client of ours communicates with over 30,000 customers a month. And they were using just their website, social media, and print newsletters. The cost of printing and postage was huge every single month. And then we had no data on are people actually reading or sending them. We can go to the website and see if they're visiting the information. I can see if they're interacting on social media, but there was no data to see, are they clicking? Are they calling? So now when people come to the website, we capture their information and we email customers monthly. We now see the open rates, we see the click-through rates, and we have data to see if the messaging is working, and we can work from that data. Now, while most email open rates are about 20%, this particular client has an open rate of over 50%. We got rid of the print, and now we're saving on printing and postage, and our message is reaching more customers, potential and current. Before I move on, I want to recap how blogging, your website, and lead capture and the newsletter are all important and should be connected. So if you blog and you create phenomenal content, which I know you will if you do it, you want to share that to your newsletter list. It is a great spot to let those who have signed up, because if they sign up, even if they've gotten something for it, right? They've gotten a coupon, they've gotten a free download, they've gotten a family recipe. They want to hear from you, or they wouldn't have signed up. Let them know that you have created something new, that you have something valuable for them to read and to learn. Don't just create that content and let it sit there. Social media is the other channel you want to push that blog content to. Don't just create it and let it die. If you blog and someone discovers your blog through Google or through your share on social media and they visit your blog on your website, you want to capture their information. You want to market to them in the future. And you can't if you do not have a lead capture form or email newsletter. But wait, I can't move on yet, because I have to give a huge shout out to a Small Biz Big Wins supporter, Fusion Digital. Darren Philport is the web developer we exclusively work with for Keep It Real Social. Peeps, if your website does not have a lead capture form and you need help making that a reality, or your website is slow and it needs a refresh, call Darren with Fusion Digital. On episode 8 of Small Biz Big Wins, Darren and I chatted about the important features a website needs, and there are many. So please give it a listen. I'll put it in the show notes. It's an awesome episode, but seriously, spruce up your site. It is your digital calling card, and make sure your visitors have a place to sign up and that you have a newsletter to communicate with them. Fusion Digital can help make this happen. So tell them Summer sent you, and I'll also share the link in the show notes so you can connect with them. All right. Okay. So let's get back to it. Let's talk Google Business. If you know me and you've listened to other podcasts, or you've seen me speak in person, or you've heard me on a podcast as a guest, you know that I think local search engine optimization is critical for your small business. Google Business is a free Google service to help your small business be found through Google search and maps. Having a profile helps you increase your local visibility, period. And it's easy to set up. If you visit business.google.com, you can set it up. When your profile is set up and you have to verify it, right? So you're going to set it up and you're going to go through the verification process. Then customers can find you. Current and potential can find you when they search for what you do, the services that you offer. Now, most small businesses will set this up, they'll get this verified, and then they kind of just like set it and forget it. Don't do that. Most will just update their hours, but they're not utilizing some amazing features like adding photos, posting updates. You can add up to 1,500 characters as an update with a link back to your website on Google. That is gold, people. So you want to make sure that you're doing this, and you can post business events all for free. Google allows you to add events like a sale you are having or an in-store promotion. So when people have their location settings on their phone turned on and they search, for example, because this is a season in Northern Michigan, You Pick Farms, and you are a farmer's market. I mean, this is when you're making your bread and butter, right? You want people to find you. And you have a You Pick Cherry event, and you have your times posted and information. When a customer or potential customer is searching for that, that's how they can find you, is because you posted that event on Google Business. If you write a case study on how your service-based business helped another business, so you're a business to business service, and you post an update with a synopsis of this case study, and you link back to your website, a customer who is looking for the service that you offer, that you just wrote a case study about, can find you and go to your actual case study. Your Google business profile drives traffic to your website. And if you have this integrated marketing strategy, you're going to capture their information. And then what are you going to do? You're going to email them and remarket to them. You're going to nurture that potential customer that might not buy today, but in the future, or share with a friend who will. The very last marketing channel that I have to share with you that is so interconnected with all of these other channels, and what I truly believe is a channel very much underutilized by small businesses, would be Pinterest. Pinterest, my friends, it is not a social media platform, not at all. Pinterest is a visual search engine. Pinterest has over 518 million active users a month. And these are active. That means they don't just have accounts, that they are on Pinterest actively every single month. 76% of these active users are women between the ages of 25 and 34 with an annual budget of over $100,000. Pinterest users are buyers. Your business should have a Pinterest business account and be creating pins, pinning them to these categorized boards. And guess where they all link to? Your website, if you do it right. So when someone sees your pin, they click the link, they visit your website. What are you going to do? You're going to capture their information. You're going to add them to your email newsletter, and then you're going to market to them in the future. Your list is gold. It's what you own, and you need to build it. The greatest thing about Pinterest, it's just like Google. It's a search engine, and people are actually searching for what they're interested in. You can create stunning pins using Canva. It's not hard, but if you need help, there's always an agency like Keep It Real Social willing to help you. Let me give you an example of how a business can use this, because sometimes people just don't get how to use Pinterest for business. They're using it personally. They're pinning for travel or recipes or home decor or whatever. So let me give you an actual example. Let's say you're a boutique with a retail location, but you also have an online store. You can have Pinterest boards for different fashion categories. So let's say you have a Pinterest board for formal dresses. You have a new dress that just came in. You have it in a bunch of different sizes. You put it online. You have someone model it. You take a photo. Then you create a pin on Canva. You pin that graphic to your formal dresses board that you created. You describe the dress, the perfect occasion it's used for, and you link that pin to your online store. Here's another example. You write a blog post about cocktail dresses and all the different styles for the summer. You create a pin on Canva, you pin it to your formal dress board, it links back to your blog post. That blog post links to all the formal dresses that you sell. You share this blog post on social media, you share it on your newsletter, and you pin it. Now, I know this can be a lot to take in. I get it, but hopefully I'm painting this picture for you that there are other channels just besides social media and how you can integrate these channels to share a consistent message and ultimately drive your customer to your website to buy, to learn more, to sign up for your newsletter, and that you can continue to remarket to them, to tell them about what you do, what you offer, the deals you have, your thought leadership to provide value. So here's a story of how a customer goes through this journey of visiting these different marketing channels. They're connecting with you, you're connecting with them. The client becomes a customer because they've connected with you. Then they become a loyal customer. I like to call this loyal customer the cheerleader. They're out there telling everybody about your business and they're helping your business grow from word of mouth marketing, which is exactly what all businesses want, right? They want a happy customer to go tell everybody about it, and then everybody comes and buys from them. So I'm going to name this client Betty. And Betty is a Pinterest user and she loves to travel. So a local business is having a really big event and they have wine tasting and shopping and they pin this event, right? They post it on Google and they share it on all these other channels, but they created a pin under events and they pinned it. And Betty, she's a Pinterest user. She loves to travel. She sees this pin and she pins it to her girls' trip board. She's planning a trip to Northern Michigan with her girlfriends, and this looks like a lot of fun. Betty clicks the link. She visits the business's website. She signs up for their newsletter, and then Betty gets the newsletter all about the event. But it all started on Pinterest. And so she books the trip, she shares it with her friends. They're super excited. They attend the business and the event. Then they follow the business on Instagram and they share their experience. They're so excited, right? They're posting pictures, they're tagging the business. They receive another newsletter after the event from the business, thanking them for attending. They're asked to leave a Google review. Betty and all of her friends leave a Google review. This is exactly how connecting these channels work and how important they are. Imagine if Betty never signed up for the email, she wouldn't have gotten the event details and signed up. What if she was on Pinterest and the business never pinned the event? She wouldn't have ever seen it. The pin led her to the website, that led her to sign up for the email, that then had her follow on Instagram, that then led to the Google review. They're all interconnected. Here's another one. Tom is looking for boat insurance. He just bought a new boat. A local insurance agent has a blog post about recreational insurance, and they shared it on Google Business because you can share updates on Google Business. Tom searches Google and he finds the local insurance agency's blog post through Google Business. He clicks the link to read more about the blog post and he contacts the insurance agency. Tom also signs up for their newsletter when he's on his website because they offer this incentive to get 10 tips for buying insurance. So he signs up. So he connects with an agent who helps him out. Tom finds the right policy with his agent for his new summer toy, and bam! The blog, Google Business, email marketing, they are all working in tandem. I could keep giving you these examples. The pod would be like 3 hours long. I have so many. So I'm going to leave you with a Small Biz Big Wins win. Each episode, myself or a guest share a big win to inspire you. Even though I shared earlier in this pod the email marketing success a client had, I want to share a success story about Pinterest. The retail client I referred to in the podcast earlier that used blogging also successfully used Pinterest. And what was amazing is that when we looked at the web stats, Pinterest was in the top 3 sources of traffic. Pinterest helped increase their sales and also their newsletter subscribers. Pinterest was driving traffic to the blogs, and the newsletter subscribers kept growing each month because of Pinterest. So when we sent emails, each email resulted in multiple sales. If you're a skeptic, I assure you, I've seen the data with my own 2 eyes. I've seen the ROI. It works if you connect everything together. But each piece of content needs to have legs, and it has to be integrated into these other marketing channels. And I really hope that giving you all these different examples and explaining the platforms to you help you understand the bigger picture and how not marketing in silos, but instead connecting them all like pieces of a puzzle and having them work together is really the best way to do marketing. All right, I'm going to get off my soapbox. I really hope this was valuable for you. Maybe you learned a new way to use a marketing channel, or you realized how one channel could work with another. If you've learned something, please leave a review. Let me know on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and share with other fellow business owners. Share this podcast, share this episode. That's the goal of Small Biz Big Wins, to help as many small businesses as possible. And to do this, your sharing makes all the difference. If you want to reach small businesses and to be a show supporter, please send Summer at keepitrealsocial.com an email. It's Summer with an O. I'm also going to provide the link in the show notes. Packages are super duper affordable. So thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Small Biz Big Wins. Now go market your business with intention and make sure you're consistent in your messaging, your tone, your voice, and your branding.